Now we're going to nest our plain seams. So we place right sides together, and I want those two seams to lay on top of each other. So I take a peek and I put them there. Sometimes you have to kind of scratch the little bubble out of the way, so you can pinch it right up there when you think you've got it, and you can double check, kind of peel back that first layer and see if the seams run together. It took me a little bit of time. It didn't work the first time, so I just readjusted it, but that's just what you do, man. Take the time to get it right the first time, and you don't have to redo it later. All right, that was a good, nice line up for me, so I'm satisfied. Time to pin. I'm sewing on the long edge, so that's why I'm pinning it. And instead of pinning in the center on those stitches, I pin in the seam allowances to either side, because I feel like sometimes the pins push the stitches out of the way. For the corners here, I pick them up and I put them together and pin. I'm not relying on smoothing it out on the table. All right, I'm in charge. I'm the boss of this fabric. It is not the boss of me. That one had a slight bubble, so I just wanted to put one more pin in that little area. And that's where we're going to sew. Try not to sew over the seam allowance, but there you go. To the machine. Line up the raw edge with the 5/8 line, presser foot down, slide the pin out, needle in, back stitch to the top of the fabric, sew forward, pause when you get to a pin to slide it out, sew, pause when you get to a pin, sew, pause when you get to a pin, sew, and the whole time I'm keeping the raw edge on that 5/8 line. That way you get a nice consistent seam allowance. Sew to the end and back stitch. Needle up, presser foot up, pull the fabric out, cut, slide sewing machine out of the way, trim up our threads, and just like we've learned before, we want that seam allowance to be 5/8. So I'm going to measure. I'm using a tape measure because I know you have a tape measure. Line up a whole number on the stitches and count the eighths. You should have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're at 5/8 at the top and 5/8 at the bottom, you're probably 5/8 in the middle. You're good to go. It's going to take a while before you consistently do that, but it's worth getting right. Set the stitches once, and then you can finger press open the seam just to make it a little bit easier, but then come at it with the iron. And down. Put some force behind it, and up, down, up, down, up, and I think I do it one last time. I like the steam function, so I give it a good whoosh because I can, and I love the way it makes it look. Always press on the right side at least once. If it's right the first time, then you only need to press that once. And I just took the iron and glided over there to get out some of the wrinkles. The end.